Hi, I'm David Schneer, CEO of Merrill Research, and this is another Merrill Research segment highlighting cutting-edge approaches to research. And today I want to discuss the micro-expression of sadness and how recognizing this emotion can help people in distress. I remember one particular incident like it happened yesterday, although it was several years ago. I was conducting advertising evaluation interviews in Chicago in August. It was sweltering outside and each participant arrived cherry-faced, thirsty, and perspiring. We had cold refreshments waiting for them, and they were more than happy to beat the heat and examine our clients' ads in the air-conditioned moderating room. But that's when one memorable interviewee arrived. We'll call him Joe to protect his privacy. He too was melting in a t-shirt and shorts, and he looked mighty uncomfortable like everybody else. But there was something about him that seemed off. I extended my hand and got a limp, wet fish in return. Joe hardly looked me in the eyes, and his eyebrows were arched together. His lips were turned down slightly. He had what is known as the grouper face or mouth. His gaze was unfocused and distant. He slumped back in his seat. Now, those who have experienced trauma or have suffered greatly can show a permanent grouper face. Others can show it while going through an extended period of anxiety or depression, and still others simply have a grouper face that is not a result of any trauma or emotion. They just look that way. But back to Joe, I said, "Can I get you some water?" "No thanks," he replied, his eyes looking right past me. "Just had some." Trying to understand more, I leaned in and asked Joe, "Are you okay?" "No," he replied, hesitating, his eyes welling up with water. "We just came back from the hospital and my wife has been diagnosed with inoperable breast cancer." I was stunned. I said, "Joe, I'm so sorry to hear that, but why are you here?" "I just couldn't go home," he replied, staring down at his feet. So that day I cut the video and the audio, shoved the ads aside, and just sat there and talked with Joe. There was no way he could review anything in his shape, and having had firsthand experience with family members battling breast cancer, I changed the subject to one of resources and hope. Soon he began to respond, sit up, and look me in the eyes. Joe never did evaluate the ads that day, and initially he refused to take our incentive until we convinced him that it would be sweet to buy his wife something nice. Empathy and sympathy go a long way with those who are sad, like Joe. Now, Joe's story was extreme, but it illustrates how to read if someone is in distress and how to assist them if that is possible. And there are many basic signals of sadness that are quite easy to spot. Sadness can typically be detected from the eyebrows and lips in most cases. However, be careful, as micro-expressions of sadness are not necessarily always related to your words. Any myriad of stimuli, a memory, a smell could quickly trigger sadness in someone. Also, there is another micro-expression of sadness that cannot be captured on photos. This is when somebody's facial muscle tone fades and the energy has seemingly been drained from their face. This is usually a sign that somebody has truly experienced something horrible or that they're clinically depressed. So, what do you do when you encounter sadness? Well, perhaps these people were sad before they met you. Perhaps it was something you said that had inadvertently triggered a painful memory. When you encounter micro-expressions of sadness, try the following. Remember, this person is in pain. Let the empathy and sympathy flow. To the extent possible, try to figure out what, if anything, you may have said to cause them pain. And if you have, apologize if your words were hurtful. Change the topic and talk about something that is more pleasant and charming. Offer to take a break if somebody is really in distress. Join me again for another Merrill Research segment on cutting-edge techniques to improve research results. Thank you.